ドジャースの大谷翔平投手の愛犬デコピンがファンを魅了しています。日本時間2日にロサンゼルスで行われたワールドシリーズ優勝パレード中、デコピンがウィル・スミス捕手の娘と交流する写真が撮られ、可愛いしか言葉が見つからないとファンを悶絶させるほどの話題となっています。また、デコピンの首元に飾られた肉球の形をしたちりめんペット守りもファンの間で注目を集めています。さらに、ドジャースのマスコットのような存在になりつつあるデコピンには、チーム関係者も興味津々の様子です。ベッツがホストを務めるポッドキャスト番組オンベースでは、ロバーツ監督を招いて優勝シーズンを振り返る中で、デコピンの話題が登場しました。番組内では、ベッツとロバーツ監督がデコピンについて語り合う場面もあり、さらにポストシーズンの秘話も明かしておりましたので、こちらの模様を日本語字幕付きでご紹介いたします。
First thing is, you could go on tour with Ice Cube as a backup dancer. Did you see your moves? Have you seen the video of you dancing?
I think I blacked out. And when he said that was my ass dropping right there.
Oh, that was ass dropping.
So that was my ass dropping right there.
Get that Lodo, Doc.
So I know, because I got a bad knee. So I still know my limits. But man, I would love to go on tour with Ice Cube. I'm telling you, Mookie, this was like, it took me back to 1988 when I had a Nissan Sentra, a red Sentra, and I had my 210s in like a wood box. Because that's what you did back in the day. You used to get a box made. You used to put your woofers in the trunk, and your license plate would be beaten up and racking and making all that noise. But, man, I would listen to NWA and Ice Cube all day long, and so that kind of took me back.
A decoy should be the official mascot of the Dodgers.
On base.
I'm on base on that, too.
On base.
That I've never seen a dog act the way that dog. It's the perfect dog of all time.
No, and the thing is that I'll tell you, that's where Shohei, as we see this picture of Decoy and Shohei, that Shohei is just like as comfortable in his own skin when he's with that dog.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? My daughter told me the other day, she was like, you know what I think is that when Shohei has Decoy, it takes the attention off him.
Oh, it puts.
And so it allows him to sort of like let people just focus on Decoy. So to the point, your point, I'm on base with Decoy being our mascot.
Yeah, I'm with it. I think we just get a costume of him made, and someone should play Decoy, all the time.
All the
travel
time.
with us and
yeah,
like the Fanatic.
Like the Fanatic.
We need Decoy though.
For Decoy to learn how to deliver a first pitch in like 2 weeks, that's unprecedented. So if he can do that, Decoy can lead us to another championship.
I agree with that. And we're going to got San Diego, and they really kicked their ass all year.
All year.
So how were you feeling about it? From your perspective?
I felt from my perspective that was the World Series. I felt that at that moment in time, when we started the postseason, they were 1 through 26, the best team.
100%.
And when you play a team as much as we played those guys, the novelty, the awe factor, that was all gone. They were no longer afraid of us.
Mm-hmm.
We're familiar. They beat us up in the regular season, so they were hungry. They hadn't won a championship, so I felt that was going to be our biggest challenge, especially in a short series.
Going in, we played well there, and then going into the Yankee series, we go up 3-0, which was crazy in itself, and then we lose Game 4, and then we're down 5-0 Game 5, right? I mean, everything before then is kind of, whatever, but now we're down 0 Game 5, and you have a unique perspective because you've been on the other side, down 0-3, and you won a game, and now, being on the Dodger, you're down 5-0, and you've been on the other side like smelling blood, like we gotta go. So I want to hear both sides, because being down 5-0 there, I'm like, okay, I don't want to go back to LA. If we have to, cool, but like we got to figure out something. And you managed that game differently, and so
I did, Mook, and because I have been on the other side of it, and when you're down 3-0, you're at the point where you have nothing to lose now. It doesn't matter who was favored, who wasn't. When you're down 3-0, everyone is expecting you to lose anyway. So now, that for me, it's freeing. And so they played free, won game 4. And I will tell you this now publicly, I was so afraid to come back to Los Angeles for game 6, knowing we still had Yamamoto in our back pocket. But the point being is that if we were to come back, the noise, the pressure becomes real. Because then you're going to start potentially being part of history in the wrong way, a team that gave up a 3-0, because it's never been done in the World Series. We did it in the ALCS, the Yankees versus the Red Sox. And so for me, that was the fear of going back. So to your point, yes, I managed with urgency. Even when we were down 5-0, I didn't know how we were going to finish this dang game.
So Trinan, really Trinan was kind of it.
He was it.
And that's how. And so when you went out and talked to him, and did you think about taking him out? Were you thinking about taking him out?
No.
So you went out.
I didn't have a choice. He was going to stay in that game. So at that point in time, there was nothing. I didn't do anything good right there. What I did do is I tried to slow the moment down, and I tried to give him a breath. And I wanted to put hands on him. As you know, I like to put hands on people. So I'm out there. I put both my hands on his chest, and I wanted to look him in the eye. And I wanted to look him in the eye like I did right there and said, hey, man, what do you got? You got any more in there? And he said, this is my guy. I want Stanton. And so the interesting thing is I was expecting Daniel Hudson to be ready at that for the next hitter, Rizzo, because he had already thrown close to 40 pitches. And I'm also trying to be mindful of a player's health. And then so after he gets Stanton to pop up, Mook, I'm waiting for him to look at me because there's only one pitch. But I did tell him one hitter. And so he didn't look at me. Because if he looked at me, I was going to go get him. He did not look at me. I'm on the top step, and then Freddie is at first base, subtly, respectfully, moving his glove like, let him get him, let him get him.
Oh, wow. So Freddie played a part in this.
So Freddie played a part in this. And then, so you know what? I looked at Freddie. Blake didn't look at me, and I go, the right decision is to stand down and let him get him.
So would you have before, in years prior, would you have went and got him no matter what?
In years prior, I would have got him no matter what.
And why? Is that because of is that just like
it's more of a feel thing.
Okay.
It's more of a feel thing. And I just felt that he was, for me, and no disrespect to anybody else, I just felt in that moment we were going to live or die with Blake Trinan on the mound. And I had to trust him.
And then one last on injury front. Then Freddie hurts his ankle right before playoffs. And that's a tough way for you to manage because it's like, okay, you got Freddie Freeman, who won MVP on one leg, but also he couldn't really walk. So how do you balance putting him in the lineup versus managing this man's health and his own personal? How do you manage straddling that fence? Because you got the Dodgers to win a World Series, but you also got Freddie Freeman, who, if you know Freddie Freeman, one of the most beautiful human beings of all time.
I think the health of the player is always my number one focus. And so that part was actually really easy. The harder part, which I think at that point in time in the season, we collectively got to a point where we weren't going to be denied this year. And there weren't excuses where in life, in past teams, people always look for an out on why you potentially might or might not succeed. And with this team, it didn't matter if we lost Tyler, all these guys that we lost Freddie for a minute. Whatever we had that night was going to be good enough for us to win a baseball game. And so whether Freddie, had to take time with his family, Freddie had to take time with his ankle, it killed him more than anyone. But I just felt that in the room, we all believed that we're going to pick him up because he's picked us up. And sure enough, when you get to the World Series, he goes and shows out and he picks us up. So that's why this team was just different, Mook. It was like, and I think that, and I do believe the fans saw a different sort of demeanor fight from this 2024 Dodger Ball Club.
ご視聴ありがとうございました。これからも大谷選手のさらなる活躍から目が離せません。チャンネル登録と高評価をよろしくお願いします。皆様からのコメントもお待ちしております。